Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 says, "Thank you, Donald Trump," says Umar. Thank you, Donald Trump, says Umar. This came with a link. Anthony says he'll be up on the panel in a little bit later, so we look forward to you joining us. Anyone is welcome to join us, by the way. Is this the right one? This prompt is taking us to Instagram.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm scared.
No, that's not the right. That's not the right one. Hold on a second. I'm tripping. Hold on. It's this one. This is the right one. So again, Shoot the Breeze topic number 2. Hold on. Drop my audio again. I hate when StreamYard does this. Share screen. Let's go here. Oh, okay. I think you guys can see my screen now. Yeah. My computer is slowing down a little bit. Sorry about that. Let's just get right to it. Black Steel, can you see my screen?
I just see the main. I can see the screen. I can't see what you're. Okay, now it's coming up. I think it's coming up slowly. Okay, yeah, it's coming up now. Can you hear me? Okay. Did I lose you?
My computer froze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
My computer froze. I apologize.
Oh, dag. Looks like he dropped.
All right, I'm back. My computer froze up there. I apologize. Let me try this again. I guess we wait. Yeah, you gotta wait for it.
I'm still here.
Yes, I appreciate you still being here, Black Steel. My computer froze, but here we go. What's going on here now? Let me see something. I when I'm hosting, there's going to be some technical difficulties. Wow, my computer just froze up completely.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Just bear with me a second.
I'm cooking anyway. It's all good.
Yes. Oh, okay. What are you cooking tonight?
I'm putting some chicken on the grill. So, it's kind of a late Juneteenth thing. My kids asked me to grill, but, plus tomorrow's Father's Day. So, you know how that goes.
Right.
Mother's Day, mom goes to the restaurant. Father's Day, dad does the cooking. So,
yeah. Crazy stuff. My kids asked me yesterday, my kids asked me today, what are we doing tomorrow for Father's Day? I'm like, God damn, y'all should be telling me, but all right.
Right? Y'all can plan something.
Okay, so my screen is up. Sorry. Yeah, plan something, man. God damn. My screen is up. Let's watch the video and then we'll discuss
it. Donald Trump.
So you want?
Thank you, Donald Trump. Let me tell you why.
Tell me.
No, I did not vote for him. I never would.
No, but you
I don't
want,
like
you
him.
want...
I don't respect him. I don't support him. What Donald Trump did, and I need you to hear me. What Donald Trump did is he made it comfortable for white people to tell black people publicly what they think of you again. This is important, Loon, in order for us to raise our racial consciousness. Because we have been brainwashed by black religion to not see color, it's going to take our enemy to show us they racist. You see that? Thank you, Donald Trump, for letting these be colors again. Because only under this type of a circumstance are you going to get the truth.
Right.
Thank you, Donald Trump.
So you want
Thank you, Donald Trump. Let me tell you why.
Tell me.
No, I did not vote for him. I never would.
No, but you
I don't
want,
like
you
him. I don't
want,
respect him. I don't support him. What Donald Trump did, and I need you to hear me. What Donald Trump did is he made it tell black people. See that? Thank you, Donald Trump, for letting these be colors again. Because only under this type of a circumstance are you going to get the truth.
right.
So this is a sentiment that I've heard before. The brother MG2 has said that before on the panel. Shout out to MG2 if you're out there listening. That, this basically thank you, Trump, because that's going to wake black folks up. And I have a big problem with that. Everything that's happened to black folks, not only in America, but we could focus on America because they're talking about Donald Trump. But even what's happened additionally worldwide against black folks, what more do you need to see? I used to have a spot for KWAZ radio where it was snippets of hosts speaking, and what the snippet for me was I think black people required too much buy-in. Too much buy-in. You gotta constantly sell the idea to black people. Hey, it's time for us to get up and do something. It is time for us to get up and do something. And you gotta sell 100 black people lists constantly to get maybe 2 black people. Like, what more do you need? Did you really need Donald Trump to show you anything? Listen, man, when we was under Obama in America, there was a high number of police deletions of black folks. What more do you need than that? We just talked about a couple weeks ago, Rick Chow. I think that's the bastard's name. Rick Chow and them. We just had this situation with Carmelo Anthony, which, by the way, they just released the tapes of him on that day, which is interesting. What more do we need? I find Umar and them kind of ridiculous. I know Umar is smarter than that. I just don't get it. Sorry for the rant, Black Steel, but maybe you have a better take than I did.
No, I agree with you. I mean, like you said, we don't have to have Donald. Since when have the European not let us know exactly how he feels about us? You may have some bourgeois circles, the upper class, black people who may not be exposed to daily racism, but the average day-to-day black person, we understand where we're working at and where we're looking at. I don't think we ever needed Donald Trump. Like you mentioned during Obama was president, you had situations. Remember when Trayvon Martin got killed, and Obama said, "Oh, he could have been my son." You should have seen the way the racists reacted. They had this whole movement calling, saying Obama wasn't American. He was, he was really born in Kenya or Indonesia, or wherever. So no, we never needed um, Trump. But I think what he's saying is that black people tend to respond, or black people basically could resist or organize better against open white supremacy, right? That if black people are in a state of oppression, and that we're not confused about our enemy. Like Malcolm X made the analogy of the wolf and the fox. He said it's better to deal with the wolf than deal with the fox, because when you deal with the wolf bares his teeth to you. The wolf lets you know he hates you. He's going to try to devour you. Whereas the fox tends to be a little bit more sly. He smiles at you. And then until you don't realize you're being devoured until you're halfway down his throat, to the stomach, to the juices of his stomach juice are already halfway digesting you. So he lures you into a false sense of security. And I guess what he's saying, that under Trump, there is no more false sense of security. But I think that's a rejection of American history, And I think that some people are fans of what they call accelerationism. But I don't, if you accelerate the conditions of racism, you make it harder, that black people will respond. But I don't think we're organized enough for that. I don't think that removing black people from jobs or positions of authority in the world will improve our condition overall. We're at this point, how are you not aware of racism and how this system works against African people? You got to be out of your mind if you don't understand how this whole situation is set up and how it affects us. So I'm just a little confused. What is his goal? What do you want to see? More black people suffer? Do you want to see us lose more rights? But I do understand the point. But the problem is that we're not organized enough. We're not even mobilized enough, I think, to respond to more open white racism. I think that we have become, at least in the United States, at least, we are a pacified people. And if you give us the creature comforts, we won't rebel. And I think they killed or imprisoned so many of our revolutionary leaders that we're not in a mind space to even really react. When the system treats, like, for example, Carmelo Anthony, right? When the system sees an injustice, we mobilize, but then there's not a sustained movement, Okay, say he gets out of prison in 5 years, they do the appeal and he gets found not guilty, he goes home, right? I think that eventually the black people will go back home too, until the next atrocity, onto the next thing, until the next thing, until the next thing. But black people sometimes think we miss the fact that we're at war, and we've been in a continuous state of war since we arrived here. And except the only people who don't realize it is us. So I think what Umar is saying is that Donald Trump is reminding black people that they are at war. And you often hear it many times. So once Trump's gone, we got to get rid of Trump. Trump is the enemy. But Trump couldn't do what he does without the support of the majority of the people, in not only the government, but also in the citizenry. That's the thing. He could not make the moves he does or pass the laws he passes without support of other white people, without the support of the European governments. The American government, the American citizens, and he just couldn't do that. He couldn't move the way he moves. All these checks and balances put into the Constitution, and he's just running roughshod over them that don't even exist. But we're worried about Trump. No, it's not just Trump. It's not just him. He's the boogeyman that everybody wants to talk about. But when we're willing to talk systems, when we talk organizing, then we can have a conversation. Lord of Slaughter says something. He said they didn't pass a law against a felon becoming president. Man, listen, when I taught government, right, I often would tell my students, what is the stipulations to be president. Being a felon was never one of the stipulations that rule you out. You got to be 35 years old. You got to be a citizen born in the United States, and you got to have residency for the last 14 years. Anything of that is fair game. Anything outside of that, but again, we're going off a document that was written in the 1780s. Why are we still counting that document is the highest, best form of government to be used 250 years later. You know, that's and like you said, they could have stopped him. This could have been stopped, but the problem is that they just didn't have the will, because Trump is useful for the Democrats because they can say, well, at least we're not Trump. They don't have to really do anything to improve the conditions of the people. They can just say, hey, it could be worse. It could be him. We're not going to promise you nothing. We're just not him. And that's kind of why they lost. So I'll go ahead. And that was just my thoughts on it. I really feel like Umar is really exaggerating the role that Trump plays, or that black people aren't unaware. But unfortunately, many of us feel we're powerless, man. We don't feel like we can really change or do anything. And we really lack the organization to really come up with solutions. We can get mad and we can mobilize, but I think we got to have a longer sustained organization in place to kind of change things for our people.
I like that, Black Steel. We got two new panelists joining us. Before I introduce them, let me play the video again. It's a short video. I'll play it again just so that they are on the same page as you and I. Just hold on 1 second.
Thank you, Donald Trump.
So you want it.
Thank you, Donald Trump. Let me tell you why.
Tell me.
No, I did not vote for him. I never would.
No, but you
I don't
want,
like
you
him. I don't
want-
respect him. I don't support him. What Donald Trump did, and I need you to hear me. What Donald Trump did is he made it comfortable for white people to tell black people publicly what they think of you again. This is important, Loon, in order for us to raise our racial consciousness, because we have been brainwashed by black religion to not see color. It's going to take our enemy to show us they racist. You see that? Thank you, Donald Trump, for letting these be again, because only under this type of a circumstance are you going to get the truth.
Right.
So as I watch that again, thinking about what Black Steel said, I kind of get, I really get what Black Steel is saying. I don't know if, and this is just a snippet. Maybe Umar goes into some length about it, but Umar did mention something interesting. He mentioned we've been Christianized, and that Christian stuff makes us a little bit docile, at least in the present. I think Donald Trump will have to come and drop brimstone and fire and a couple of plagues before black folks come and say, hey, hold on, wait, now, plague? Brimstone and fire? No, we got to do something about this evil. So I do appreciate what Black Steel said. Anthony's coming back now. But Anthony is here. Anthony, how are you this week?
Hey, what's up, brother Coco? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How them hogs doing?
Hey, man, yeah, we got them on the grill over there, man. They out there cooking them, man. But yeah, and happy Juneteenth to everybody, man. And peace to everybody on the panel and in the chat.
Same deal.
Okay, about the Coco. I was listening to it. I said, because I got to hurry up and shame, man, on this. Okay, I get the sentiment about what you're talking about. But your point of it, your perspective of it. Yeah, I get that. And Black Steel, he as always, he broke it down real good. What I'm saying though is, okay, yeah, remember, okay, he was on a show, on a TV, being a little bit dramatic, a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I understand what he was saying though. Because as Black Steel even has said, we as black people here in America, you know what we saying? Oh man, once we get Trump out of office, you know what I'm saying? Things gonna go back to normal. And see what he was saying, I think that what Brother Umar was saying was that, no, this is how they really feel. He's telling you this is how they really feel. When you have a democratic regime, whatever they want to call it, because to me, they the same, they ain't different. But I'm just saying, when you have a democratic president in office, okay, say a Bill Clinton or somebody, and you think, you don't look at things like, oh, things ain't as bad, we making progress, we get a token here or there, somebody get appointed to this position or whatever, we promote a black person here. Hey, we making progress. No, you're not really making progress because we forgetting about that tokenism thing. You know what I'm saying? About these black politicians that we have. You know what I'm saying? Who don't really do nothing for us. And I think that what he's doing, he's trying to highlight the fact, he's trying to put it in our consciousness that no, it's the same then too. You know what I'm saying? You just was, you let Bill Clinton or whoever, this white man, come on and he could sweet talk you and make you think everything cool. But at the end of the day, look at his policies. Look at Joe Biden's policies. Or look at a Clinton's policies and what his policies did to your community. You know, the impact that it had on your community. No, he's just as bad as this one is. But only this one right here, he's such a damn fool and a crazy white boy that don't give a damn. He gonna let you know how he feels. It's just like, like I put in the chat, I want my white boy like Archie Bunker. You know what I'm saying? I want to know, hey, I know where I stand with him. And like you said, like Black Steel said, yeah, of course, yeah, we know how it is. But we know how it is. But we as black people in this country, especially, we some scary ass people. You know what I'm saying? We still holding on to, well, it's gonna get better one day. No, it ain't finna get better one day. Life ain't never gonna be better for you on the plantation. You know what I'm saying? As long as you ain't on your own land, ruling your own life, it ain't never gonna be better because you always gonna be subject to this shit. And every now and then, one of the plantation masters gonna come along who don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Like this one, and he gonna let you know. And he gonna do all of the shit that he doing. So I mean, you can't be comfortable. So what I'm saying, Coco, I think that he was being a little bit dramatical in the way he was saying it. You're thanking Donald Trump and all that shit there. But I'm saying, but we know exactly what he was really meaning by that. I think we got to look past, okay, we got to look at what he said and not just necessarily how he said it. You know what I'm saying? Because what he was talking about is the truth. Because look here, black people, we ain't woke up yet. We thinking that when this man get out of office, things gonna go back to normal. Well, what was normal? You was still on the plantation. You just didn't get whooped as bad. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't make it work past what you was already working past. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I'm saying you want to go back to being a comfortable slave. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's really the issue that he's trying to push. When he's saying, in other words, yeah, to tell you, look here, black people, African people, you got to look at these people for what they really are, not for the other version that they give you when they say Democrat or whatever, and you think that this is a good white man. These some good white people. These are good slave masters, rather. They'll say they both the same. And at any time, even your good slave master turn around and whoop your ass. And I think that's what he was trying to say, man. I'm gonna knock off for a minute, man. I'm trying to get my stuff together in here, but I'll be listening. I'll join back later if I get a chance to.
I appreciate you as always, Anthony. I get that. The thing about it is, you might not like Kanye West. You might not like Kanye West, but Kanye West said it back. How many years was that now? When George Bush, the second one, was in power, he said George Bush don't like black people. Like, he left all them people stranded due to Hurricane Katrina. That I think Anthony might have been impacted by. Like, how many things do we need to happen before we get it? In the chat, real quick, before I go to the next panelist in the chat, Trigapi says, I think our people validate integration in a multitude of ways, and sometimes we need to see the truth, but even in the face of truth, there's nothing that moves our people to go beyond this reality, and that's what I'm talking about. Water Slaughter puts up the RBG colors. Trigger goes on to say, it's too much of a reaction and not enough of a holding of grudges. A longer memory for the transgressions done against us. Man, Trigger, you're cooking out there. You must be grilling some hogs or something yourself too. Lord Slaughter says, what more do we need? He says, Lord Slaughter says, we need more rants. I appreciate that. Lord Slaughter. In the chat, Brother Bakari asks, what did Umar say? Well, Brother Bakari is on the panel with us now. Brother Bakari, how are you this week?
Man, I'm absolutely magnificent. How y'all doing? Black Steel, Cold Cool, the chat. How everybody doing? Anthony, if you're still listening.
Good.
I heard Umar. right? He say, "Thank you, Donald Trump." I think I heard what I get the gist of what people saying. Even when I heard Black Steel use the Malcolm X when he used the fox versus the wolf. I'm a dog man myself. Which one you rather face, the pit bull or the chihuahua? I much rather fuck with me personally. I'd rather deal with the fox than deal with the wolf. And the reason you want to deal with the fox, see, this wolf gonna stay on your neck and on your back way more than that fox. With the wolf, you're gonna have an opportunity to organize. You're gonna have an opportunity to plan. With the wolf just gonna come in and kill you. You want to deal with the fox. You want to deal with the fox so you can be ready for the wolf. The fox is way easier to deal with. So when I hear him saying, "Thank you, Donald Trump," man, everybody know what this country is. Black people know what this country is. And when they say, I don't blame, I'm gonna say it like this. I know more Christians personally that's ready to be suited and booted than non-Christians. And I'm just being honest with you. So when people say that, they say it's the Christianity. It's the Christian that you deal with. Right? Bro, it's seriously, when you out here in these streets, and when you going to the gun ranges and you training, and you out here dealing with people, and you getting bullets, and you doing things, it's more Christians that's ready to do anything than non-Christians. It's more Christians that's ready to organize. And I ain't no Christian at all. And I think Christianity sucks. All Abrahamic religions, not just Christianity, all the Abrahamic religions has made a lot of black people colorblind. But I do know when it comes to it, I'm speaking from my anecdotal experience. That's why I said I know more Christians that's ready and that's suited and booted and that's prepared. And that got stuff that's more preppers than the stuff that me and you might talk about that we need, prepping and the food and the ammo and this and this and this. Shit, sometimes I have to go to the black Christians, man. I need this. Sometimes I might have to go to them because that's who might have to show me. But when it comes to this right here, we know how this country is. Black people don't want to accept this country. Black people don't want to accept the fact that this country don't like them. That's the problem with a lot of our people. They're fighting for acceptance. It don't make a difference who's in charge. Because if Trump was the problem, you wouldn't have these people all over social media on Juneteenth arguing with black people like myself for waving the red, black, and green flag. Because they say our color should be red, white, and blue. They'll have the United States flag next to their red, white, and blue so-called FBA flag. It doesn't make a difference who's in charge. That's the problem. That's the problem. So when we see what's going on now, like Black Steel said, we'll get mad for a minute, then we go home and go back to doing the same damn thing. Like I said, I told my lady, you know what, when they said they were gonna boycott Asians, I said, you know what, and I was watching, just heard somebody say make you feel so good that somebody finally got on my page. I know I got a small channel, but I've been saying this forever. That's why I say I don't boycott. I make it a lifestyle change. But other people, they have to boycott. But don't just stop with the gooks. How about boycott the Arabs? See, they stuff get ignored. The stuff they do, it get ignored. How about boycott them East Indians? Or make it a lifestyle change and say they ain't gonna get no money from them. How about boycott the Mexicans who can come in your yard and mow your lawn? None of them people spend money at black businesses. So it doesn't make a difference who's in charge. The stuff that's going on in this country, our people see it. But to say, I would rather deal with the wolf than with the fox. With that wolf, you can't plan. With that wolf, you can't organize because that wolf gonna stay on your neck. With that fox, you can. The fox is weaker. Yeah, he trying to be slick. But while he trying to be slick, you can plan, you can organize. You want to crush the fox so you can be prepared for the wolf. But we have not tried to crush the fox. So now we ain't prepared for the wolf. And these motherfuckers talking about the dire wolf. When these people was speaking, see, during the campaign trail, right? And they can put politicians to grab the mic and go to talking about how it's going to be a bloodbath and how they talking about revolution on the campaign trail and how they talking about killing people. The same person that say, thank you, Donald Trump. I ain't never hear him say nothing about that. See, he can say thank you, Donald Trump, because this chunk is showing y'all he is. Why he didn't say then? Thank them. They getting ready. Why he wasn't telling you then? You know what? It's time for us to get suited and booted. Let's see what I can organize. Like I said, I got a small channel. This is a small platform. But I've been telling people for years, do you have any food saved? Can you go 6 months right now without can you go 6 months right now without going to spend money with them people and eat every day? Can you do that? Can we do 6 months? That should be the goal. Do you have batteries? Are we trying to figure out a way to meet? Do we have peroxide alcohol? Do we have the things that we need? Are we taking pepper spray training? I've mentioned pepper. Are we taking, because when we say thank you, because this country's showing you, what's the next thing to do? We supposed to be training. See, it was easier to train when the fox was in. It was easier to train and do the stuff that I'm talking about doing now while the fox was in. Because now that the wolf is in, and the wolf knows somebody might want to fight back, all of a sudden it's an ammo shortage. I'd rather deal with the fox. I'd rather deal with the fox because I know the fox is easier. And I know I can organize. And I know I can be prepared and ready to shoot that wolf between his eyes. I'll get the mic.
Thank you for that, Brother Bakari. Lawsaw says acceptance is the problem. Kofi the Black Critic from the chat says hit the like button. By the way, shout out to the matron. The matron is in the chat. She says, greetings, everyone. Happy Juneteenth. And greetings to you too, matron. Where was I? Trigger Happy in the chat says, notice the narrative amongst many of our people that they built this country. From that very perspective, how can you get them to build a parallel institution away from this reality? Well, Saul says we should boycott everybody. Trigger Happy says, if one thinks they built this country and mustn't inherit it, they won't do anything to destroy it in spite of the damage of the people who, quote unquote, built the place. He goes on to say, I was reading a Twitter thread that said Black Californians live under Latino domination. Some Black Californians attack back saying we built California, so we are not leaving. So they are okay with a majority of another people or another group over them. Lawsaw says the FBA are majority in California. Man, so much good conversation. I want to give Black Steel a chance if you can or if you want. Do you have any thoughts to what Brother Bakari said just now?
Yeah, I do. I agree that, right now we're in a renaissance of open white supremacy. This is a true fact, right? We're dealing with in your face naked racism. Right? They removed any mention of Harriet Tubman from like the National Park Service. Little petty stuff like that. They took down the Black 4-star general picture in the Air Force. Just doing little hateful things like that. These white people are not playing, and then they like to frame any type of Black progress as DEI, right? So, these things are, you didn't really work hard. This is DEI that you did. They want to go back and erase our historical accomplishments. That's something that is being done currently as we speak, as African people. So. And also, too, I think that when you are faced with a two-party system, which we have a two-party system, unfortunately, right? You have a system where two parties predominate, and you're really forced to pick a side, sadly enough. Many times, we try to bargain for the lesser evil. One group is openly fascist, One person said, I thought it was pretty interesting. The Republicans are racist, but secretly gay. The Democrats are gay, but secretly racist. Right? So then you kind of have to navigate what you can and can't get into. I mean, I don't believe we should have any type of allegiance to any party, but we should vote for our interests and vote for what benefits us. So if we can vote for something that makes sure that your grandma gets her insulin and that your neighborhood can have clean water, then I can certainly understand voting for one political party. Whereas the other party is saying we're going to kill you and we're going to drill oil and put data centers in your neighborhood that drain all your water and drive your power costs up. So it's a very thin, slippery slope that we're on as African people. But I do think that revolution is never on the ballot. Right? You can't vote your way out of the system. You're gonna have to organize and fight. And I'll leave it there.
Quick, thank you for that, Black Steel. Quick thing. I saw it just before I went live tonight. Did y'all see Jeff Bezos said humans are drinking too much water?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, humans are drinking too much water that could be used for these data centers that they're building around the place. So what do you think? And this is one of the richest men, white fuckers on the planet. What do you think they're gearing up to do? They're gearing up, as someone said, maybe it was close to 20 years ago. I talked about it on Shoot the Breeze many, many moons ago. The guy was the head of the Sani Water. And he was pushing back then. He was pushing that we should charge for clean water. That's not a right. We should charge people for clean water. And here comes Bezos today or yesterday saying that to get these data centers, which is all just surveillance, to get these up and running, you people are drinking too much of the clean water. Imagine that. They are, like Trigger said here, yeah, that sounds like they're about to take water from people. What
That
happens
sounds like
when
they're about to eliminate, we got to get rid of some people.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So my point in bringing that up as well is I don't need to thank Donald Trump. I already see the problem. The problem is we are sitting by hoping that someone changes their mind. And I'm not even talking from a religious perspective. I think just in general. We hope that one day these guys will change their mind in how they deal with us. And the world will be kumbaya again. I don't get it, but hey. Thanks to Lord of Slaughter, by the way, for the 199. He says, we have black nations to move to. And I'm worried about that now, Lord of Slaughter, because when they start building data centers all over Africa and charging those people, our people in the continent, for clean water, what are we going to do then? By that time,
You think Tinubu or whatever dude in charge of Nigeria, he'll do it too. Pay him enough money, he'll do it too.
Absolutely. Oh,
I don't think he's ever
KW
had
Don
the white
always
man whose ass
fact
he won't
check.
kiss.
KW Don always fact checks me, and I appreciate it. He said it was the CEO of Nestle. I thought it was Dasani, but I think he's right. He said the CEO of Nestle that said water should not be free. Thank you for that.
Hey, can I say something right quick? The CEO of Nestle, not only did he say water shouldn't be free, they took this down off the internet. It's hard to find now. He was talking. When he was talking about it, he did an interview talking about it. He opened up the bottle of water and took a sip and say, smacked his mouth and went, water's for the privileged. He did that shit in the interview. Nestle. Yep.
He did do that. Yep, he did do that. He did do that. So you know, what are we waiting for? How much more do we need? Do we need to get to the point where we can drink goddamn fresh water? We gotta buy these straws so that we could go lay down by a damn puddle and drink with our children and drink a little water. The time is now, man. The
It is
time is
getting
now.
so. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, Coco. I thought you had stopped. I apologize.
Now go ahead.
It has gotten so. It has gotten so bad. The city of Jackson, Mississippi. You know the black guy that made the or we can turn air into water. However that work. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This the city of Jackson, Mississippi. Don't care what happened. Don't care how much they work on their water. It won't ever be right. So they'll turn into him. So certain parts of Jackson, Mississippi, they're trying to do a contract with him to see how much he can produce. So the city of Jackson, Mississippi, the whole city can have clean drinking water. Yep. But hey, these the people we dealing with. He say thank Donald Trump. I say fuck Donald Trump. But I know it ain't just Donald Trump. So I can say, but I didn't talk about Donald Trump when I didn't talk about Donald Trump when Biden was in office. I'm not gonna talk about the Democrat while this person is in office. So that's just me. So the Democrats get theirs for me too. They just ain't in charge right now. The person in charge okay and all this. So fuck Donald Trump.
Yeah, I agree with you. Trigger said this is why the AES is so important. Africa is so ripe in the sense that surveillance is not as deep, even if some neo-colonial leaders take on surveillance. By the way, Sister Raw says greetings to me and all of you. Shout out Sister Raw, happy Juneteenth to you as well. Trigger says we have to take Africa before they use full surveillance in Africa, like in Western countries. That's what I'm talking about. Lord Slaughter says that's why I don't think we should be trying to fight for nothing over here. KW Don says I believe he is with the WEF now. Oh, he's talking about the guy from Nestle. Okay. Daily Affirmations by Pauline says, could data centers be why Puerto Rico is out of water? You know, I've heard this mention of Puerto Rico, and I didn't look at it close enough. Did anyone on the panel look at it? Could data centers be the reason for that? I don't know, Black Steel or
I wouldn't doubt
anyone.
it. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, because think about how poor Puerto Rico is. Like they may have very well put those data centers there as a way to, you know.
Well, look, I don't know too much about the data center thing. I'm gonna be honest. So I don't know. I'm gonna say the little bit I know. What I heard about data centers was they putting them up in black neighborhoods. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. What I do for a living, I make a lot of deliveries, oil, gas, stuff like that. Out here, and I'm just being the data centers out here. They are in here. They are in millionaire. Some go to a town called Cartersville, little city called Cartersville. It's in the rich white neighborhood. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't know much. I'm still looking into the data center thing because it ain't even in a black neighborhood. It's in the upper middle class white neighborhood where the house is $500,000 to $2 million. So I don't know. I'm gonna come on my other.
Yeah, I think Bakari has a slight delay. But Bakari, like me, what I'm seeing is the data centers are around white neighborhoods, causing a lot of noise and stuff like that they're complaining about. Uh, that could possibly be because they're worried if you bring them around black neighborhoods, they'll get vandalized or something like that. But Black Steel, you were saying something, and I think Bakari cut you off. Black Steel, finish your thought.
I was just saying that the data centers, they consume a lot of water because they have a lot of um, memory that they need to keep cool. So that possibly could be the reason what's going on in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is usually, it's a colony in the United States, right? So much of their land is being bought up by corporations, and I wouldn't be surprised that that's happening. A lot of their fresh water sources are being used up. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Sorry about that. What's crazy is that I noticed that when you when you get stories from about China, not that I'm caping for China either, but you'll see that they talk about China putting data centers like in the ocean floor and uh, up in the cold regions and the mountains and stuff like that for cooling and all this stuff. I really believe, and this is the beast that you're dealing with in America. I believe that they're like um, just intentionally putting this stuff, using up fresh water around people just to be able to implement this charging of people for clean water. Why not throw that shit? You have Alaska, throw that shit around Alaska or something like that. But nah, let's bring it around people's houses and where children play, and let's just fuck with them. You know what I mean? So anyway, good conversation. Lawson says it is already a shortage of water here in the U.S. Huh? Well, yeah, that's true too. Because like Bakari said about Mississippi, but where the matron is, they had a huge water problem. Matron, did they ever fix that water problem out there? I remember a black man had built those generators to make water from air, and people vandalized those. You know, people vandalized those, and I never heard anything else more about that water system. Was that ever fixed? The claim was that the pipes were bad, lead in the pipes or something like that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But good conversation, guys. Let's go, for time's sake, let's go on to Shoot the Breeze topic number 3. Hopefully, Bakari and uh, Anthony will join us again. And if you guys want to join us, um, by all means, click the link, come up on the panel. Let's hear your thoughts. The matron in the chat says, in Flint, no. Those people are still drinking bottled water. My goodness. Flint had to be from since before COVID, if I remember correctly. That's a number of years that our folks, in particular, have to be drinking bottled water. That's insane. That's insane to think.